What would you do if you stared death in the face? Would you fight for the opportunity to save yourself? Or would you resign yourself to the fate in front of you? Would you take even the slimmest chance given to live? Or leave it in the hands of the gods? The greatest test you'll ever face is a test for your very own survival. Unfairly, time does not wait for everyone to pass their test. But sometimes there are opportunities. The universe grants us moments to change our futures. Success is not guaranteed, but it is better to grasp that moment, our lifeline, than simply giving up. Don't give up. It's night time and we're all alone on the Coral Sea. It's dark and we've lost all power due to the flooded engines. The weather is atrocious and we've no control over the trawler. Our left boom has snapped off the mast, causing the boat to lean over about 50 degrees. We're anchored to the seabed by heavy fishing equipment full of prawns on both sides of the trawler. Minute by minute, the trawler is sinking lower into the water as waves flow over our safety barriers. This is our perfect storm. My name is Eoin from Ireland and I'm the backpacker who probably should have stayed on dry land picking fruit just like everybody else. After telling a few white lies about having fishing experience, I find myself on a sinking trawler. Then there's the skipper and the two other deckhands. But there's another group of main characters that have a leading role in this story. And they are the hungry sharks that follow the trawler every night. When the bycatch is thrown over the side of the trawler, it is a feeding frenzy. Hard to see at night time with the waves and the propeller wash, and those guys will bite anything that goes into the water around the trawler because 90% of the time, it is food. Taking into consideration the situation that we find ourselves in now, it's only a matter of time before we have to abandon the ship. Our centre of gravity has now moved from the winch, located on the trawler deck, out over 7 meters to the pulley at the tip of the boom. The cable holding the fishing equipment that is anchoring us to the seabed is jammed in the pulley. There was only one thing to do. Climb up and out to the end of the boom and cut the cable below the pulley. The skipper didn't hesitate. Like a pirate with a hacksaw in his mouth, he crawled out onto the rocking boom. He shimmied out to the end of it and then disappeared under a wave. He knew that would happen. He knew he'd be in the water with the sharks, but he played the captain's role to save his boat. The three of us watched perched on top of the sorting table, trying to stay above the waves crashing onto the deck. I could see the skipper was struggling to do this alone. The longer he stayed out there, the more likely he was to be picked off by a shark. If he goes, we're all doomed. This was the moment I stared death in the face. My rational mind knew the weight of two people at the end of the boom meant we'd go down deeper and stay longer under the waves. That meant there was also a risk of drowning. But it was worth the risk. The time was now. It was our last and our only chance. I didn't hesitate. I decided to fight for the opportunity to save my life. I crawled out to him, careful to hold on tight when the waves crashed over my shoulder. I lay down and bear hugged him, clamping him onto the boom. We didn't have time to say anything before we were submerged underwater. At any point, the sharks could have picked us off the boom. We were like meat on a skewer. The skipper depended on me to hold him, and I depended on him to cut the wire. If either of us failed, we would all be dead. We were submerged again and again. I wanted to tell the skipper to hurry the f*** up, but I could see that he was carving into that wire as quickly as he could. I could tell his arm was slowing too, because my head was pressed up hard against his shoulder blade. Then, after what seemed like an eternity, the wire finally snapped and the boom recoiled up from the water. The next wave passed beneath us. Getting back to the trawler was psychologically harder than going out because I could now clearly see all the shark fins swimming below us. One slip off this thin, wet boom would be fatal. We made it back to the deck, and then we spent hours bailing water out of the engine rooms to stay afloat. You know something? We had a rough night on the 15th of June, 1999. If life flashes in front of you in a do or die situation like that, I want you to remember these words. Do not give up. When life throws you a curveball and knocks you down, I want you to remember these words. Do not give up. When all seems lost and you're thinking about throwing in the towel, I want you to remember these words. Do not give up. Find a way to help yourself or find someone who can help you. I hope you never become stuck in a life or death decision like this. And a tip to stay out of trouble like that is to make good decisions now that will follow you into your future. Here is a photo of me working on the trawler. And here's a photo of me the day after I left the trawler. Looking a bit more like a fisherman there, Eoin. Okay, move over there, lads. And surprise, here I am now. I'm 21 years older than that guy. And you see what I see? That's pretty good continuity, I think you'll agree. And I have one more surprise. Abra Kababra. I wrote the book, and I called it Trawled. And it captures the true story of my crazy 6 weeks out fishing. Now, unbelievably, the story I've just shared with you was not the worst experience I endured on the trawler. If anything, that was just a warm-up act for what was to follow. Trawled is a crazy adventure story, but it also has an important message at the end of the story that probably even trumps the message. Do not give up. So if you're interested in a page-turning book, it's only available from my website, and a €1 donation will be made to the International Association for Suicide Prevention for the sale of each book. You'll find all these testimonials on my website. And lastly, to leave you with a laugh, the expression trawled has even made it into the Urban Dictionary. Take care, everybody.